Got a bunch of Nintendo Switch stuff to talk about. Last week was the launch of Nintendo's new platform, the Switch 2, follow up to one of the best-selling consoles of all time. It's handheld, it's powerful. And the reviews were interesting for the Switch 2 because Mario Kart World, it was getting 9s and 9.5s, which is interesting because every review that I saw was basically calling that shit Mario Kart 8 DLC. I didn't see anybody that liked the open world. It's just ports to play on that thing. But hey, y'all bought it. Sold 3.5 million copies. 3.5 million units in the first week. The fastest selling week one console of all time so far. Insane. Matter of fact, let's give it up for you fucking frauds. 3.5 million units. Niggas said they wasn't gonna buy it. $80, $90 games, $500 console, and they still bought it. It's the fastest selling. Friendly reminder, the internet is not a real place. Shout out to Mr. Flex a lot with the sub. But I got a bunch of various articles, some positive, some negative regarding the Switch 2 if you're still interested in maybe picking up the next wave or if you see one in the store. The first article I got for you is the Nintendo Switch 2 is closer to the power of the Xbox Series S than the PS4 because that's what FOMO is real. A lot of people were saying it's comparable to the power of the PS4, and now reports are claiming, at least this person from Koei Tecmo, says it's closer to the new Xbox Series S. If you're wondering how powerful the Switch 2 is in terms of raw computing power, one developer said it's closer to the Xbox Series S than the PS4. In an interview with WCC Tech, Takato Itaguaga, sorry I butchered your name, producer of Koei Tecmo's Wild Hearts S, a game that failed, but is coming back to the Switch. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna call conflict of interest. Wild Hearts came out last year. They shut it down like 3 months after it came out. Now they're reviving the game on the Nintendo Switch 2. So I find this article to be a little sus that Nintendo paid to revive this fucking Monster Hunter bootleg clone. And now he's saying, no, it's not a PS4. It's not a handheld PS4. It's actually more powerful. Little conflict of interest, but we'll keep reading along. Said that while it's difficult to generalize about the power of the Switch 2, the Series S is a decent comparison. There are a lot of characteristics when it comes to the raw computing power, so it's difficult to generalize, but I think that it's closer to a Series S. So, I mean, that's what he said. Not gonna lie, as soon as Nintendo starts going green, I'm selling all my stocks. I'm sick of them. I made some good money off of Nintendo. But I wanted to go up a little bit more before I sell the shares. So I mean, if you're in the market, if you are interested in a Switch 2, know that this dev is saying that it's closer to the Xbox, the new Xbox, than it is to the PS4. It is a powerful handheld, which is something positive. The rumors are not true. It's not a fucking PS4. So PS4 niggas, you lose again. In other news, more positive news. So if you're interested about accessories when it comes to the Switch 2, this video came across my For You page. It turns out that you do not, if you want to play naked Mario Kart, it turns out you do not have to buy Nintendo's proprietary webcam. It seems like any USB camera works in the new Switch 2, which in my opinion, that's a W for Nintendo. So check out the options that you have for playing naked Mario Kart.
To support the new game chat feature, Nintendo released a camera. But what I want to know is, can any camera work with the Nintendo Switch 2? And can the Switch 2 camera work on a computer? Time to find out. The audio already seemed to detect it, so that's a good thing. And a quick camera test shows that it works just fine. So yeah, you don't need to buy a camera at all. You can just use whatever you have at home. But now for question number 2, does the Switch camera work on a computer? I have a MacBook here, so I'll give it a shot. And this is a good sign. But I tested it in Microsoft Teams, Discord, and FaceTime, and I couldn't get any of it to work. But now you know, maybe you'll save a few bucks.
So there you go. He was using a basic Logitech webcam. It turns out you can plug that into your Switch 2 and it will work if you want to play games, but you cannot plug the Switch camera into your computer and make it work. So if you're in the market for Switch 2, just trying to make people aware, if you want to save some money, if you own a webcam, before you go out and buy that Switch 2 proprietary camera, you might want to try the webcam you have laying around, because it turns out you might be able to save some money when it comes to playing naked Mario Kart. Oh, that's getting patched. Yo, don't wish that upon people. Can't they put software blocks in? They can, but why would y'all? Yo, stop wishing this shit. We trying to save money. Chill. I'm just trying to make people aware of information, you know? Like, why are y'all trying to speak that shit into existence, bruh? If I can save $50, $60, I will. God damn, bruh. Although I don't know why y'all want to look at niggas while y'all play fucking Mario Kart, but it is an option. Do you have to get it for the Switch to work? Wait, what are you talking about? You have to get what? Did Mr. Mind's Eye slander? Nah, you didn't. You didn't. Next piece of news I got for you regarding the Switch. This came from Tom Warren, who's the owner of Insider Gaming. I use them a lot. Oh, my bad. No, that's the other Tom. My bad. He writes for The Verge. He's the senior editor. My bad. I forgot. That's Tom Henderson. He tweeted out his experience with the Switch 2, and he says, we're moving on to the negative side. I showed you the positives that I found. Now I'm going to give you the negatives if you're interested in the Switch 2. I'm trying to be fair and balanced, unlike Fox News. Tom from The Verge says the Wi-Fi on the Switch 2 is not good. I tried it on a few different routers and it wants to connect to the 2.4 gigahertz instead of the 5, which for people who are not tech savvy, 5 is the fastest form of Wi-Fi. Like if you have gigabit internet and you're only using a 2.5 gigahertz Wi-Fi band, you're not going to be able to maximize that 1,000 up, 1,000 down. That's what he's saying. So you won't be able to maximize all your internet speed with the Switch 2 is what he's basically saying. Download speeds are bad and you might have to play with your routing settings to get it to play nice. Not what I expected in 2025. So it's still using 2.5 gigahertz. So if you're in the market for a Switch 2, reports are claiming it might take a long time to download these games because the internet, the Wi-Fi on it is ass. Don't worry though, Nintendo will sell you a Switch 2 OLED with a 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi band on it 2 years from now. Don't worry. In dock mode, it's fine though, but off the dock, it's slow. Okay, that's good to know, number one. Does it have internet, Ethernet? I believe the dock has the Ethernet port built into it. Is there
Shout out
an
to
Ethernet
in the chat
port
for resubscribing.
in the
it's
Switch
rough out here, so
to
you
dock?
a real ass nigga for that.
Yeah, there is. It's built into the dock. So yeah, you could always use, that's the workaround. But if you want to walk around the house and play on Wi-Fi, let's say you want to play naked Mario Kart from your Wi-Fi, it might be a little bit more difficult.
Bag on a super nigga like me would be super.
It might be a little bit more difficult.
Like this.
Yo, shout out to Bryce with the super chat. I appreciate you. He said, I hope you're doing well. I'm in Detroit on vacation visiting family. This nigga said he went to Detroit for vacation? I mean, I guess a vacation's a vacation. Stay away from that house that was in that horror movie a couple years ago. What was that shit called? Where it had that demon in the basement? Night Rain After the News? Nah, I'm hopping on Expedition. But I appreciate the super chat. He said, hold on, now chill on Detroit. I'm always slander Detroit. Now we got some more negative stuff for you. Reports are claiming, this is a video that hit my For You page. I've been saving all this shit. According to this person, YouTube is bugged out on the Switch 2. So if you bought a Switch 2, just know that only games are running properly because you can't even watch me on your Switch 2. You get an error, apparently. I don't know how accurate that is. It might just be his problem, but it sounds like some people are having issues with it, which goes back to what I said earlier last week when I said you got to be careful when it comes to adopting new hardware, because with new hardware comes new problems. It's better to pick up the hardware in that second or third wave. So just know you're beta testing these devices. Do niggas not have phones? I guess not. He really wanted to watch YouTube on there and it just didn't work, bro. Yeah, so that's one thing. And then another one, I keep getting videos like this. People regretting they bought their Switch 2. This one cracked me up the most. He said, trying to warn my past self not to buy the Switch 2. I got bored after 2 hours.
Don't let me leave, Murph. Don't let me leave, Murph. No!
I guess Mario Kart 8 DLC was not that fun. Interstellar reference, right. I thought this was a funny one. Shout out to the creator of Movies and Games Galore. What else I got for you Switch 2 related? I think something about the Joycons as well. Oh, here's another. I got a bunch of negative shit, unfortunately. Is it just me, or does the Switch 2 incredibly buggy? I'm on my 7th hard crash / system freeze in the first 10 hours. I just had the entire system stall out while idling. I don't know what the fuck that means. I started recording as the audio cut out. I'm used to jank on a product launch, but this is getting annoying. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Switch 2 is freezing and crashing.
So I was just filming, I was just getting ready for another scene. I had this thing idling here, and the audio stopped. So
that shit is completely frozen.
It actually like almost caught something on footage.
Mind you, he's playing Super Mario RPG, the remaster. This is a game that came out on the Switch like a year or two ago. He's not playing a Switch 2 game. This is a hardware issue. It bricked.
You can see
this isn't a game pushing the hardware to its limits.
I pull out the controller. It doesn't show that it's able to connect. So that one's not connected.
$600 brick.
Is not connected. We press the power button. It doesn't work.
That's the type of shit where you gotta wait for the damn battery to die just so you can reset it because it's so damn brick the reset button don't even fucking work. That shit is. And then also the homie Ricky, more bad news. Shout out to 3MG Live, but when I saw this on the timeline, I had to save it. That's why I'm in the comment section. I said, I'm sorry this happened to you, Ricky, but I'm gonna have to save this for the notes for the next stream. Another streamer by 3MG, shout out to him, go hit him with a follow. He said, I got a replacement Joycon soon coming from Nintendo, but his analog stick fell off the fucking Switch 2, day one. $600. They are still having stick drift problems, and the analog stick is just coming off. This is fucking crazy. This is why I say, don't let FOMO get you. Them day one jitters is there, boy. Nintendo is fucking up a little bit. Obviously, this is not happening to everybody, but I've seen it enough.
Just resubbed.
This is the second time I've highlighted on this stream since the launch of the Switch 2. The analog sticks are falling off. Another issue. Not another issue. Not another issue. So I'm going to end this Nintendo. Yeah, they're beta testers. So I'm going to end this Nintendo section by highlighting a video that came across my For You page. Now, it's a spoof, a parody of Schoolhouse Rocks talking about the launch of consoles from a video from 4 years ago. So they referenced the launch of the PS4 and the Xbox One, I believe. But this video is still very relevant because I sit here and I say it on this stream, but people don't listen. So maybe you'll listen when somebody sings a song to you. So class, let's listen to a song.
Video game consoles coming out. I'm gonna save up my allowance and buy them all.
You might want to think twice about that, kiddo. Back in the 90s when you bought a new system, it was basically ready to go. But those days are gone by, so buddy, don't be that guy. You wanna be the first in line, but I say no, 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 no. They won't have near enough games, no matter how great they seem. It takes at least a year or two before they're running full steam. Yes, it's a dirty little trick, so you gotta be staunch, kid. Don't ever buy a console at launch. I'm being serious, do not ever buy a console at launch.
But the video game companies promise all these great games and features within the first year.
Sure, just like presidential candidates. They'll say anything to get your vote, the way game companies just want you to buy their console.
Didn't you
Said drop the link.
More like PU.
PS4?
Oh, give me more.
Xbox One?
Xbox done.
Ouya?
What? The OS will be a mess, so you gotta be staunch, kid. Don't ever buy a console at launch. Now sing it with me. Do not ever buy a console at launch. That's right, and even if they release a picture-perfect device, you know that 6 to 12 months later, they'll be dropping the price. Ain't that so crap? It's a trap, so you got to be staunch, child. Don't ever buy a console at launch or Apple product, but don't ever, never, never buy a modern gaming console at launch. Don't try it, don't you buy that console at launch. Yeah!
Now, this is the same thing I preach on this stream, but because I make jokes or I talk in a serious tone, a lot of times it flies over the head. So hopefully for all the slow PS4 niggas out there, a nice little Schoolhouse Rock song, it'll help you digest it. You know, I'm just a bill. I think I've only ever got the PS5 day one. Everything else, I waited at least a year. Hopefully we have a lesson learned because it was, I gave some positive, but it was mostly negative news when it came to the Switch 2. So that's what I got for you when it comes to the Nintendo Switch. Shout out to that crew.